This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program News Analysis, now we bring you a discussion on purchase of Rafael jets and national security. The participants are Shekhar Iyer, political analyst, and Vinay Kumar, journalist.
Issue of purchase of Rafael combat aircraft is again in news. Lok Sabha saw heated debate yesterday on this issue, and Congress President Rahul Gandhi was the star speaker on behalf of his party, and he was replied to by Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who had also earlier held portfolio of defence. So to say, it was a battle of wits between the Congress and the BJP. The debate remained inconclusive because there was pandemonium in Lok Sabha and Parliament could not discuss it any further. Congress has been repeating its allegations for a while now, and Rahul Gandhi has been in the forefront of levelling allegations of favoritism, of not following the due process in purchase of Rafael, which was effectively countered by Mr. Jaitley, saying that the Supreme Court, which was hearing petitions on this issue, has already given its verdict, and the government also squarely rejected the demand for a joint parliamentary committee probe in Rafael deal. Shekhar, if we see the developments not only in Lok Sabha but over the past few months, particularly in the run-up to the assembly elections, what do you make out of it?
Well, one would have expected that this controversy, which has been going on for some time, would have settled down after the Supreme Court verdict. Because the Supreme Court had examined all the three issues involved in this. One is the way the negotiations were conducted and why the need for purchasing the aircraft. Second was the price. And the third was choosing an offset partner. Supreme Court went into all this and came to the conclusion that it did not see any favoritism by the government of India to the French manufacturer. It did not see any irregularity in the price because the details were given in a cover since it involved the military aircraft. And third, as far as the offset was concerned, it felt it is a matter between the original equipment manufacturer, that is Dassault in this case, and its choice of Indian firm. Now, nowhere did the Supreme Court see any evidence of irregularity by the Prime Minister or by this government in choosing this. And this Supreme Court hearing itself was very, very significant because first time the Apex Court called the Air Force Chief to come and brief it on what was the need for purchasing this aircraft at this juncture. And the Air Force Chief in detail explained the strategic reasons as to why this aircraft, this multi-range aircraft was needed. And this is a fifth generation aircraft. Now, after Supreme Court has given its verdict, saying that beyond a point it could not go into it, and as to it can't get into the nitty-gritty of why this particular manufacturer, why this, for the Congress party to go on and on and on this is a bit surprising because Rahul Gandhi no doubt feels confident after the Congress winning the 3 assembly elections. We have not seen any new evidence being brought by the Congress party or Rahul Gandhi in taking this thing further because even yesterday when we saw the debate in the Lok Sabha, I did not see any new facts being brought forth because he was only repeating the allegations which he has made earlier that this whole thing was done in an irregularly manner, then the way Dassault was chosen or the way the offset partner was chosen. And he kept on taking name of one particular industrialist who is junior partner as an offset partner and why government is only purchasing 2 squadrons. No, it has been explained by the government that already the Air Force has given out the letter of intent for purchasing the remaining. Air Force immediately needed at least 2 squadrons and that was purchased. Now all these points have been explained earlier because the Rafale debate had taken place earlier also. Now with no new angle, with no new evidence coming forth, the yesterday's debate was allegations and counter charges. So therefore, it is not taken the direction to take. And I don't think Rafael deal was a big issue in these assembly elections. But nevertheless, Rahul Gandhi feels that he can put the government in the dock on this issue and can keep the fire or the attack till the Lok Sabha elections.
But clearly, Shekhar, the aim is to target Prime Minister because time and again Congress President named Prime Minister saying that he is not present in the House, and after the debate also in his press conference, Mr. Gandhi said that he wants a 20-minute one-to-one debate on these various issues which have been flagged by him in Rafael deal. And Mr. Jaitley, when he was countering charges leveled by the Congress President in the Lok Sabha, the issue of national security also cropped up, saying that this is a multi-role medium-range combat aircraft. And on the pricing also, Mr. Gandhi time and again said that when the UPA was doing the deal, it was 550 or 560 crores per piece. aircraft, why it has shot up to 1500 crores or 1600 crores per piece, is the impression which is thought to be created that there was sudden price escalation, to which Defence Minister has replied again, and why the price was kept a secret. That was also a charge, which has also been dealt by Supreme Court. And this was the ground which Mr. Jaitley took in the Lok Sabha, saying that Supreme Court saw the basis on which the price was given by Daso to the government in a sealed envelope, and Supreme Court satisfied its conscience, so there is no scope for any further inquiry to go into this. And he also named other deals, Mr. Jaitley, like Bofors, Augusta, where needle of suspicion points towards the Congress. So all in all, saying that when several parliamentary panels on defence and national security have pointed out, and Air Force itself has said that their strength has been depleted to 32 to 33 squadrons, and the ideal strength should be 42 squadrons, and each squadron has about 18 to 20 aircraft. So we are already running short of nearly 300 to 400 aircraft which we should have. And since these are long-term assets, you cannot go and buy aircraft off the shelf. So these 36, another charge of Mr. Rahul Gandhi was, why not even the first Rafael aircraft has been delivered to India when they were to be brought in flyaway conditions. It was only 2015 when this happened, and 3 years is not a very long period, because 2019 the aircraft will start landing in India.
Exactly. You have, I think, brought out the very important element. If the price which was offered to the UPA government was really a low price, what prevented the UPA government from securing the deal before they demitted office in 2014? Because discussions started around 2011, and in 2012 we understand the Reliance Industries and Dassault entered into an agreement ahead of UPA government's decision. And the negotiations go on, and somewhere we find by 2013 the government is somehow dragging its feet in signing the deal. We do not know, and so far Congress has not disclosed what was the reason that delayed in securing the deal then. If the price was good, what prevented it from doing it? That is a very big mystery, because if everything was alright then, why did the then Defence Minister A.K. Antony put this deal on hold? And we understand by 2014, and now throughout this period, that is from 19 onwards when the projection started, by 2011 when the actual move started, and between 2012 and 2014, before this UPA government demitted offices, what were the hurdles that prevented from actually securing the deal? Because, as you mentioned, the Air Force was repeatedly pressing for replenishing its fleet. It was not done then. So far, we have not heard from the Congress what is the actual reason. Number two, I understand during that very phase, since Rafael was picked by the Air Force as the best aircraft among the other competitors that were listed, number two was the Eurofighter. Eurofighter was very keen to secure the deal. Did the Eurofighter exercise any influence on the Congress to prevent from finalizing the deal with Rafael? If the Rafael price was good, what prevented the UPA from securing the deal? This is a very, very important question, has not been answered. Now, cut to 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi takes office. The Air Force brings similar request before the new government and says, please decide in a quick way, because we need to boost our eastern flank and western flank. Now, government goes into it and sees what is the best way the aircraft can be secured, so that at a fast pace, instead of going through the whole exercise of again examining the offer. So the government went for a government-to-government understanding with the French government, and Dassault was asked to deliver 2 squadrons, that is 36 aircraft. As you mentioned, the first lot will start arriving in October this year. Now, this being the picture, what we are not able to understand is the Congress under pressure from one of the rival competitors to Rafael to somehow block this sale so that things can be taken afresh after this election? Because if you are attributing motive to one side, we cannot but examine the motive of the other side.
Shekhar, one indication Mr. Jaitley gave that when Mr. Antony was heading the Defence Ministry, he was at the helm of affairs in Defence Ministry. He made a noting on the file that L1 is approved. L1 was Rafael, that is manufactured by Dassault. But the process should be looked into again. That was what Mr. Jaitley, while replying to Mr. Gandhi's statement in Lok Sabha, in which he made all these allegations. So Mr. Jaitley's defense was that when L1, Rafael, had been selected, why Mr. Antony pointed towards having a relook at the process through which L1 was decided, through which Dassault was decided. And another important point which the government made on the floor of the House was there is a basic difference between a simple aircraft frame and a weaponized combat aircraft. That is which will have all the equipment needed by Indian Air Force, missiles, weaponry, radars, avionics, state-of-the-art navigation system. So all this costs money. And similarly, we see in civil aviation also, if you don't have first class and business class seats, naturally the total cost of the aircraft goes down. The more luxury you want, it's going to cost you. That was a basic point which was explained by Mr. Jaitley. And I think it makes a lot of sense to see that if you want these kind of weapons, certainly you have to cough up more money. Then there is also the fact that if Rafael would have been there during Kargil conflict, at least it would have fired from a very long distance. So Mr. Gandhi's another allegation was when 65 war, 71 war, NAT and MiGs were in the forefront of our attack squadrons. And now Su-30, Russian-made, is also the main stay of Indian Air Force. Then why HAL was not chosen? Another fact which was explained by Mr. Jaitley was HAL was going to take more time to assemble these aircraft in India. So the urgency demanded that we get 36 in flyaway condition. Then we talk about technology transfer, and then we talk about manufacturing these aircraft in India by a public sector undertaking like HAL, which specializes in aerospace, which already manufactures MiG series, Su-30 series, a lot of helicopters. There is no denying the fact.
Yeah, exactly, because as you mentioned, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is already overloaded with orders. Sukhoi has been one of their mainstay of their production line. But we also hear that the cost of producing in Sukhoi in India has been 40% more than what you had to buy straight away from Russia. Nevertheless, to promote Make in India, this is generally encouraged that it is done in India. But we have seen HAL has not been able to expand its capacities because it has to do so many things. And Sukhoi is a different type of aircraft and Rafael is a different type of aircraft. Now, as you mentioned, in the case of Rafael, the urgency was to get 2 squadrons immediately. And Air Force has already issued a letter of intent for the 108 other of that particular variety. So it's an open question. But somehow I feel Congress appears to have taken up the cause of the competitors to Rafael and therefore was hell-bent in stopping this, because these arguments, you rightly pointed out that there is a difference between a base version and a version which has all the add-ons. Naturally, even when you go to buy a car which is a general base model has fewer add-ons. Let's say you are buying a Maruti car, it has a LXI, it has a VXI, it has a ZXI. So even in automobiles, you have grades from base variants to fully equipped version. Now, in the case of a military aircraft, it requires additional features, as you mentioned, in terms of avionics, weapon system particularly. And we need an aircraft that can carry the weapons which we make. So it requires some specifications. Therefore, every time aircraft manufacturer will quote a base price and will also quote the full version. Now, this is part of a commercial negotiation. Now, for a commercial negotiation issue, for Congress party to get in and argue that, this version was better than that version, somehow there is a lot, I think, for which the Congress itself need to explain. As you said, if it was everything fine, why it didn't do it then? And above all, I think, Vinayji, Congress has been unable to prove the allegations against the Prime Minister. They are simply repeating and they are even using worst abuse. Now, abuse is no argument. You have to explain, you will have to bring evidence. That has not been forthcoming. The effort seems to be somehow keep the issue alive till the elections. But I think this is not going to help the Congress party also, because you keep on repeating the same thing without taking into account what the Supreme Court has said or what the government is saying. I don't think you are promoting even a healthy debate on this issue.
Naturally, Shekhar, as you said, the issue will be kept alive by the Congress till we see campaign hotting up for the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. So there is a lot more drama and a lot more heat in the political arena which we can expect on this issue. But nevertheless, national security concerns are paramount and they should be kept in mind while tackling such sensitive matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are listening to a discussion on purchase of Rafale jets and national security. The participants were Shekhar, Iyer, political analyst, and Vinay Kumar, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.